I'm David.
Pavneet, Mona, Radhika, Mari,
Rajiv.
I've just marked the axes of the Matrimandir, so we get the clock face, 12 axes. So I'll call them out as we go around, so you get a sort of timing. So this is the north-south axis running through here, just through the end of the solar kitchen.
Okay.
Just so you get a sense of where that is.
Okay. No, I was out. No, I was in an Ayurvedic retreat.
It's normal.
Yes, but I remember they just planted whatever seeds they had. Right. So it was a big trial and error.
I don't know who's setting the pace. We don't have the over the years. So in fact, this is one case in point, and this is what you see is actually to some degree. Where is Natasha? The park should have the continuity.
And this stretches from here. It stretches from Sanchit all the way until from Matrimandir, and it stretches all the way into Revelation, beyond Revelation. So it's one large piece of continuous, I don't know, biosphere, forest, whatever you want to call it, ecosystem. Thank you. Natasha.
These are the fingers of the going in.
Yeah.
So
no, but you have to understand how Auroville has been growing. Auroville has not been bought at one point.
We're standing at the moment.
We're standing up here. We're standing here. No, we're standing here.
Oh, that's
We're standing here. So the whole thing is that from the early 60s onwards, whenever the land was purchased to secure the development of Auroville as a whole. So people settled wherever land was available, and then they did their best to make the land livable. So they started planting whatever seeds they had, they started planting the work trees, and then gradually understood the land, understood how, like for example, this monsoon was great because you could understand how the water was running. So you start to understand the land, you understand your neighbors, you understand social, political boundaries, and you gradually grow. So I don't think it's everywhere a purpose kind of occupying places where the city is supposed to come, but it's rather like you grow organically. So there was always this kind of balance between planning, which is not on the ground, and living on the ground. And these two somehow never really met. And and that's maybe good, is because now we are forced by some energy to meet and find ways of how to happen. But I don't know what you want to say.
There's definitely a wish. I just represent Christoph and the stewards of this place because he's in quarantine. And there's definitely a wish to move forward. And I think that the best way to do that, in a sense, is to respect the wishes before this kind of happened, of keeping it as a cycle path, and the mobility that would just be reduced. And we could reinstate the trees that were actually planted here for the road itself, which were also removed, the avenue trees that were planted for that. And so there can be replanting happening, and the widths could be reduced a bit more, and that one single tree that stands in the middle could be an island as a kind of a commemoration of
what was. So I think this was what Natasha says, when it became clear that the crown becomes a topic or somehow a development priority, and there are of course others, we started clearing a lot here. So we went in manually, we were like 10, 12 people, removing first all the mulus and then freeing all the trees which stand around. We created the path through it, which would have been able to accommodate the infrastructure as well as emergency access, cycle, pedestrian.
It was cleared beautifully. It was really cleared beautifully with our hands, and it was done in a way that, there was a human aspect to it. And when you look at this now, it just feels, but we can still move ahead with this, and we can still work again. We can come back and we can work with our own hands and not big machines, and we can reinstate that.
And there is always a road just outside, so that was always there. where we said, hey, the traffic, non-vehicular or whatever, motorized traffic, which is not kind of suitable for here, can easily pass by around as it did the last 45 years. It's just 20 meters from here. So yeah, so and this continues. So we would have, there's another stretch of private land coming, then we enter into Darkali, which is a very important water catchment area. We are also on top of the plateau.
Yes.
So whatever water you save here, it's really not running off, it goes back into the ground. In Darkali we have a very important water catchment which clashes directly with the crown.
We'll go there.
Let's walk there and see that.
Anything else here? Yeah, so
You
right
said
now,
that this was anyway a park, right? I mean, the Bliss is anyway
Bliss,
a park.
yes.
Yeah, so.
I mean, also in terms
That's
of
the road you're talking about. That's the one there.
Yes.
And the youth center itself, I mean, you know, they had a whole plan where they could have a plaza on the crown and it would be totally integrated with the road, and that would be beautiful to heal their whole story, to continue with that plan because it's very plausible. And if it's completely right.
Hopefully for you. Where?
Yeah, that's the part that I think at this time would be
It's very-
premature
that's
to
why it's
comment
still
on
there.
and talk about.
No, Glenn
So
was, I
let's
think,
see the
stuck in
things and then see what is possible now.
Yeah.
These are things here.
Yeah. Yeah, not native, but big labs. Like for the tree.
So now what? I mean, I think what I gathered was that land parcels were acquired over time. They were not like in one go in any case.
Of course.
So people took, were sort of positioned in places.
Yes.
That's where this house.
Okay.
And this land, that's development.
Yeah. That's
This is that ugly, we said they had a compound wall, you see.
Right. That hotel over
Hotel,
there.
this is the hotel.
Okay.
So we're thinking there may be drones recording.
Larger one that cuts through here.
No, there's a line, yeah, this is larger one.
There's a larger one, and there's this line of force sitting right on top of it, is it?
Yes, exactly, and right on.
My question, these are the water systems, right?
Right.
What happened when you cut them without any thinking of alternatives? Will you
This
have
has to
water?
drain into something, no?
Yeah, so this will be
It goes
blocked
into
here.
the lake, into the
Yeah.
village lakes.
So with these, the water would be blocked here, or the water, what would happen?
And they just have a drain there, I guess. But it doesn't make.
Local law to even build along the Perambooks, and 30-meter of clearance needs to be given. Build along the Perambook
But why
water
you can
Perambook.
make a falling water, like
Building over is.
Let's not get into this thing. Let's just see it. I think.
This is what we proposed here.
Yeah.
That's basically where it was about when we started the place. So that's why we kept this. The radius has changed also. The radius has changed, the technology maybe, I don't know, but it was always here. And
So the 16.7 that they're talking about is from where
it
to
was
where?
never 16.7.
No, I'm not contending that. I'm only asking
At the beginning, it was
what is it
3
that.
meters.
Right.
3 meters, that's what we were told. We even have maps that show that. We have a point in Darkali, it's a small bathroom, which you will see later, which we built right from the start. We didn't know anything, so we just built it there. As it turned out, it became our measuring point to see where the road keeps shifting. So initially, the bathroom was here, the road was 3 meters on the outside of the circle. And then over the years, the road kept doing this, moving. Every time we would get hold of a map, we would see the bathroom would be in a different place. And we know our bathroom is not moving, therefore it must have been the road that's shifting. So not only it started shifting places, but it started increasing.
Size.
And all of that was never with consultation with what is happening on the ground. This area was earthmarked to be a park and a green corridor. We have always respected that. We had left this 3-meter stretch that was meant to be the crown, and we had planted on 2 areas which we knew were earthmarked for different purpose, the international zone here and the industrial zone here. But that was fine, it was just that it was land not being used. We knew that the park, the green corridor, was a narrow strip inside, and the emphasis is on narrow, which is one of the reasons why we are saying keep the road narrow in the park, because if already the park itself is so narrow, because you've got a line of force coming right here, and you've got the American pavilion and whatnot on the other side, and in between you have just a small stretch of trees, and in addition now if you take an extra 30 meters here to do the crown with the side buildings and all, what's the point? We're just basically talking of a green courtyard between a line of force, some buildings, and a huge road. So we emphasize the fact that if this is going to be a green area, then through this green area, why don't we try and keep the road as narrow as possible? And all this was usually countered with technical impossibilities, which are not true at all. We can build islands, we can build skyscrapers that are more than 1 kilometer high, we can send rovers to Mars. We have the technology on Earth to make a 7-meter road with infrastructure cable going through it. So all these technical reasons, if that is what wants to be imposed, fine, but they are not valid at all. So, taking into account the necessity for the perfect circle, we came to the conclusion that when you look at the galaxy, it is not an actual line that defines the perfect circle, but more of a stretch that defines a perfect-ish circle. And so we said, fine, so we can play with that. Why not in certain areas, the road not only narrows, but it shifts slightly its axis, all the while staying within the 30 meters, which gives you this perfect circle impression. And that, in the case of Darkali, would be the best of both worlds. Not only the perfect-ish circle would be able to go through, the road would be able to go through, and valuable ecologies, trees, water catchments, which you will see now along the way, would be saved. All of which, I might add, were done in good faith. What was done in bad faith is 40 years of designing, considering people like us on the land being obstacles, useless people, unworthy of being included in what is going. And that is just to say the least. The relationship with this group has been anything but harmonious, easy, and collaborative. So, voila, on the land now, if you want to see what it means.
I want to see one of those cannons of water that the two of them
basically,
see how
so
they cut across.
from somewhere here, the road could be in alignment with the perfect circle. And then as it enters here, it could slightly narrow and shift to the outside of the 30 meters, which gives us the line more or less that you're seeing here, this line. What TDC wants to do is from this line here to, I don't know if you can see there inside, deep inside there. Further in. No, not even that, Induja. That line there, look here. That's what they want to cut right through. This stretch they had just started the other day, but this is just a small stretch. Actually, it goes all the way till that line inside.
Can you say something about the electric cable?
Electric cable is here.
So this was on the outside or inside when it was put?
On the outside.
This was on the outside?
Yeah. It is on the outside and it can still remain on the outside. That is not a problem.
So they
Just like
run the cable with their permission, the cable was
Not our permission,
not just our
collaboration.
permission, with not only our collaboration, but us actually doing it with our own
How many
hands.
years ago was this?
About 4 years, 5 years,
3 years,
4 5 years,
yeah,
I think,
time goes.
roughly.
And there's also one thing I just want to add, maybe other people have said, when everybody says, oh, but the city will be, I don't know what percentage of green, nonsense. The green belt as we have is almost non-existent and will not be there for the next 100 years.
To soak in.
Approximately
porous,
2 to 3 months.
Okay.
2 to
So
3
you
months.
get some water till it sort of completely disappears, and summer months it goes down.
In summer months it completely disappears, yeah. Although, if we have a good year with successive rains,
Right.
then it can actually stay
For a much
more or less
longer.
throughout the year. Because as it goes in, it gets filled up with the
And I guess there's a layer of silt and clay now on the bottom part, so that helps to keep it longer.
The dam is made
and
where
we made it purposefully. We deepened the canyon, we made the dams, and we made it purposefully narrow with plantation on the
So
side
that you
to
don't have
avoid
evaporation.
Exactly. So here another, this is one of the key points here.
So how does the crown cross
There.
this?
So you see this line here,
Yeah.
and you see a line over there in the distance.
Yes, yes.
That is exactly, that is what.
So they're going to do a bridge over this or what?
Not a bridge. Fill the damn thing up. Fill the thing up. And what we are proposing, which is again perfectly in alignment with what you are saying, at no point what we are proposing does even a kink. Huh? It is a perfect curve. What we are proposing is from this line to this line. So that would mean that we actually increase
The
this
size
dam.
of the dam.
Increase this dam, make the road go over it, and we not only save a water catchment area, but we increase its water catchment capacity. What they are proposing is from this line to, I don't know if you can all see the line over there. So basically all of that would be filled up, and then some, because obviously you can't fill it up like that, you fill it up like that, so
It goes further.
Exactly.
What is the height of the elevation of the road supposed to be?
No idea.
Has anybody?
No idea. But it definitely has to be from here an extra 1.5 meters, I would say, if not 2 meters. Because this is low, the dam is low. You'll see here we go up again. So from here we'd have to add an extra 2 meters. And so I imagine the filling of this
That
place.
study has to be done, right? The road height, because there's a difference of around 10 meters. Fabian, is true? 10 meters.
That's the lowest point here.
Yeah, I would imagine
This
because
is
it's
the
you're on there's a cut ridge that goes down both sides like that.
And this is pretty low. I wouldn't say it's the lowest, right, Gopal?
It is the
It's
lowest.
the lowest?
From the Crown Road, the whole Crown Road, this is the lowest point. And this is one of the reasons why we're emphasizing the water harvesting capacity and usefulness of this area, in addition to the ecological aspect, the tree aspect, so to speak. It's because by now you all know that Auroville is a bit on, there's like a ridge in the center,
Yes,
no? And
yes.
it slopes
Slopes
to the
on-
east and slopes
yeah.
to the west. Now to the west, not only it slopes westwards, but it also slopes slightly inwards.
Right.
So it creates a sort of a channel.
So this is what you're saying is it's happening like that.
Exactly, and this is the area where this happens. So all the water harvesting efforts or channeling that can be done on a huge area, starting from the Matri Mandir all the way to halfway to the industrial zone, and then there all the way to the Matri Mandir entrance gate. All this area can be channeled here, and water harvesting effort can be done in this area.
This year we saw very well how the water was flowing till the village. No? It was all flowing, overflowing.
Yeah, this year you've had good rains and
There are
heavy.
videos too, if you want to see.
And needless to say,
No, I mean, I
this
believe
water
you. I
No,
don't
I'm
need to
saying
see
it's
that.
interesting to see how much water was flowing.
Needless to say that this water table doesn't, that the aquifer doesn't define whether you're an Aurovillian or a villager. It gives you water regardless who you are.
Luckily.
Area here of the park. So through bunding and all, it's slowly channeled into here, and it falls into here. And then the overflow of this one comes this way, goes there, and eventually fills up this one also. So the whole system is designed in a way that first we try and store as much water on
Locally,
the land,
and then
then the overflow fills
to
up
the
the
next
next,
one.
fills up the next, etc., etc. And on a relatively good monsoon year, we have achieved more or less zero runoff on about 50 acres. This year, obviously, a lot went out because the monsoon was way.
Can we just see this particular one on this? So now can you locate us on this?
This one would be situated here, more or less here. The dam is here, and this
Okay.
one is here.
So it's not a continuous thing. It's a stepped thing that is
Yeah.
going down, And this is stepping down this way, reverse, like that.
No, this way. The
This
slope
way.
is this way.
Right, that's what I thought.
Okay,
but-
so it fills up this one here that we're looking, which then goes into the canyon and fills up the one here, because this is a dam here.
So this is the one where we just walked past, was this
Yeah,
one?
no.
We walked past this one.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Wait.
I thought we'd passed
No,
through this
no,
one.
no, no, no. This is no, it's not this one. This is the one that goes behind your house. We're talking of this one. This is the canyon we're talking
this is
about.
the canyon.
So this is the dam
goes
here.
to Mangalam, it goes.
Yeah, this is the dam here. So you see, that's what I mean. There's a line of force bang on the canyon, okay? So this is the dam, and here, out of the dam, is this pond. And the whole ridge comes down like this here.
And this reaches to Alankupam.
Alankupam, yes.
It means the high line of the ridge is where
Although a lot of people
somewhere
say
like
it goes
that.
to Kottakarai, but it's not true. It actually goes to Alankupam.
3/4 of that.
So does this directly drain to Irumbai or?
No, it goes to Alankupam.
And then
Most people think naturally it goes to that Irumbai, Kottakarai area, but actually it doesn't. Eventually it turns off and it goes to Alankupam.
but then it's connected. No? Alankupam or
Yeah.
close.
Yeah, that
Overflows, eventually they all work their way to Kaleveli.
Kaliveli, yeah.
It's the bathroom, right? Which we thought was moving at first.
Yes.
And eventually after putting video cameras and watching for a whole night, we realized that it was not moving. It was the road that was doing it.
This is the moving bathroom.
It's very magical.
It's international zone, and from the canyon onwards all the way till the road, it's industrial zone. So the actual park is just a thin corridor that is going like that. So please bear that in mind. Do not look at this like, oh, this is a huge wild forest. No, already half of this is actually planned for building and things like this. It will actually be a very narrow corridor in the plan, unless obviously the whole plan sort of adapts and changes, and then it includes the whole forest, which would be great. But given that that may not be possible, the actual park is a narrow corridor. So in this narrow corridor, if again you take a 70-meter chunk of it to crown buildings, huge road, double infrastructure thing, we might as well call it a courtyard, a green courtyard, not a park anymore.
Thank you.
See you.
Thank
Have
you
a
very
good
much.
walk. Thank you. Bye.